Yes, God is good all the time. Yes, if you're walking through the valley, there are shadows all around. Do not fear, He will guide you. He will keep you safe and sound. He has promised to never leave you.
Well, if you might have heard the story. You might have heard the story about the pastor who came from kind of a small church, and he went to the big city, like a big cathedral, big church, you know, with spires and fancy stained glass windows. Nothing wrong with all that. A lot of nice stuff, and had a big bell tower, you know, and ring the chimes every now and then. And he got a tour of the place, and the pastor there was showing around and says, well, this is our director of youth ministry, this is our director of children's ministry, this is our director of this. I mean, they had a big staff. They just had a really, really big staff. And he says, well, our pride and joy, of course, is our bell. I mean, you can hear our bell halfway across the county. And he went up there. It was time for the bell to ring. And so a guy comes up, and it was time for the ring the bell. The guy comes running across the belfry and launches himself headlong, face first into the bell. Whang! And the guy looked down and said, well, that's a little weird. And he backs up, and he gets ready again. He comes running across the belfry and flies right into the bell. Whang! And he does that as many times as the hour was. And the visiting pastor looked at the senior pastor and said, who is that guy? He says, well, you know, I don't remember his name, but the face rings a bell. That one kind of grows on you a little bit. Yeah. Our scripture this morning is it's going to be out of the Gospel of Mark. It's going to be chapter 10, 46 to 52. We'll get that to get to that in just a minute. But if you were here last week, you might remember that we talked a little bit about a couple of things. We talked about being feeling just forsaken by God. We started off by talking about separation anxiety. You know, children experience this, babies do, and adults do too. It's when, you know, a mother leaves the room, or a parent or a child or a caregiver, and they don't think they're coming back because they don't see them anymore, and kids just freak out over that. You know, so if you ever had to drop your children off at daycare or at a nursery or someplace, and you walk away and you wince because you hear them crying for you, and it breaks their heart, and it's kind of natural. But after a while, children learn that you do come back. That's why we play that game peekaboo. We cover our eyes and they don't see us, but we come back. You know, we come back. Peekaboo, we're back. And the child learns after a while that you really are not going to leave them. And we go through separation anxiety all the time. Somebody will leave, and you wonder if they're coming back. Our children go away to college, or they go out at night, and we say, oh, when are they going to come back? We have a curfew. The reason we have a curfew is not for their safety. It's because that's as late as we can stay up, and we want them back so we can go to bed. And that has nothing to do with whether you're responsible or not. It's just as long as we can stay up. And so that's why you have to come back, because we have the separation anxiety. And so we worry about people. It's very, very natural. And we have a separation anxiety sometimes in our lives where we feel that we've been separated from God. We're in the empty place. We're in a dark place. It's like everything's left us. Everybody's left us. It may come because our health is failing, and they're like, okay, am I ever going to get better? Is this the best for me? Is this the end of me? Maybe people have deserted us. Jobs have left us. Relationships have left us. We may be in a place where we're even doubting the existence of God. And we cry out to God. We say, God, my God, why have you forsaken me? And of course, that comes from a psalm we looked at last week. It's also what Jesus said on the cross. And it's also what Jesus experienced. We discovered that last week, that in the Garden of Gethsemane, right before Jesus was arrested, and Jesus went off and he prayed, and he just was like, man, he's dealing the crucifixion. I mean, it's now, it's here, it's tonight. It's not 3 years from now, it's not a week from now, it's tonight. Tonight's the night I die. And this is, I mean, he says, God, if you could make this happen another way, that would be cool. But no, this is the way it's got to work. And Jesus accepts that, not my will, but thy will be done. But the disciples left him. He would have loved to have had some company. Misery loves company, not because we want other people to be miserable. We just like to have people around us when we feel bad. We really do. We like to have people come visit us. But one of the things we discovered from this is that we're really not forsaken.